sometimes the hardest thing about being intuitive is learning that not every strong feeling we have is actually our intuition speaking to us. Sometimes it's our intuition, sometimes it is conditioning or programming, sometimes it's hypervigilance or a trauma response, sometimes it is projection, and sometimes it's a fear. And part of how this gets confusing, or how we get to this point, is because we're born with our intuition, and there is conditioning around us in our environment. Our environment requires certain conditioning. We receive programming in our families, in our school systems and social settings that tell us what is okay and what is not okay about being intuitive, that cause us to quiet our voice, that create certain nervous system activations or shutdowns, where we learn to absorb other people's energy, and where we start to have these overriding patterns that start within us. We learn to override our own intuition in order to survive the conditions around us, in order to navigate through a difficult situation or a difficult upbringing, in order to fit in to our family, in order to fit into social settings at school. All of these oftentimes require us as children to either shut down or minimize or abandon this intuitive part of ourselves and start building these survival skills or survival patterns instead. And so there starts to be, a little bit of blurred lines between what we need to get through and what is actually that deep inner voice that is speaking to us from that place of intuition. Because these are strong emotional reactions when we're getting a response from our environment that something is not safe and we need to change something about ourselves in order to be safe. That's a strong feeling. And when we live in that place long enough and we develop tactics for maneuvering around situations and changing our actions, changing the way that we speak or present ourselves in order to maintain a level of safety, that voice inside of our inner truth and intuition can get smaller, and we need to go back and reclaim it. So this is why there's a bit of a blurred line and things can get confusing. What that intuition, that deep inner voice actually feels like, and this is a reminder because you guys are all intuitive. This was naturally how you came into the world. So I'm just reminding you, we're resetting this place that already exists inside of you. We're reminding you how to tune into this voice that's calm inside of you, this knowing, this feeling. So it's deep, it's slow, it's clean, it's clear, and it doesn't need to convince you. It's not a conversation, right? It's that quiet place of truth that you drop into and you have this sense of knowing. So just let that land for a minute and feel that reminder in your body, that sense of knowing. You're calm, that means your nervous system is regulated. When intuition is speaking to you, that's not a place where our nervous system is activated, right? Our intuition is calm, it's quiet, it's not stimulating a fear response. It's clear, it's not stimulating confusion and a trauma response or blurred lines between what is ours and somebody else's. It's calm, it's quiet, it's clear. Now, what fear and hypervigilance feel like, so we're going to go into the different ones, right? Fear and hypervigilance, they're amped up. They are not a regulated nervous system. So that's the first thing you notice. I'm kind of just going to be an example of it a little bit more for you, right? Talking faster. Fear, hypervigilance, right? This is urgency. This is spiraling. This is when we kind of also we won't just spiral. Sometimes it ends up being repetitive also, right? catastrophizing. We go to worst case scenario. It goes from 0 to 60 is what I always like to say. It's like, it's not, there's no like little steps in between. It's just, whew, this is the worst thing, 60 automatically, right? Also, we feel contraction, we feel tightness, constriction. And we need to know immediately there's like this again, urgency, right? So fear feels overstimulated. It feels an urgency. Hypervigilance is involved in this, right? So we're extra, we're checking, things need to happen now and they need to happen like this. And that's when we start like extra checking things. You'll notice people are like, oh, they check the lock, they're checking the lock again. They look for their keys, they're looking for their keys again. This is hypervigilance. This is like needing to stay on top of it, because otherwise the worst case scenario might happen. That's the 0 to 60. Okay, so this is all very rapid. This is all fear, worst case scenario, very amped up. That's fear. That's hypervigilance. Very different than the intuition, the quiet, clear, calm place inside. Then we go to projection or absorbed energy, and the difference between what this feels like and intuition. Okay, so intuition, again, calm, clear, quiet. Absorbed energy or projection energy from someone else, this is not clear. You're not going to feel clear if there's other people's energy in your space. That's why this is one of the first things I teach people, is to clear their energy field, because it's so easy to absorb other people's energy as we interact through our daily lives, and it gets things so cloudy so quickly, so confusing so quickly. Okay, so lack of clarity, heaviness, emotional confusion. So it's not just like confusion about what you might think or know, or what your truth is in the moment about something, but also emotional confusion. Like you might feel this way, but you also kind of feel this way. You don't have one clear, direct, no, this is my truth about it. This is how I feel about it, right? That's somebody else's energy in your space. Projection is usually like that's intended to be in your space, versus like we just picked it up, which both can happen. And if you're in relationships with toxic people, or you have some of these patterns that, you know, you had to develop as a child that still haven't worked themselves out, and these people are a little bit more, for lack of better wording, right, toxic, or they're in their patterning, and there's gonna be some more of that projection, but otherwise you're also just gonna be picking it up. So there's gonna be a lack of emotional there's gonna be a lack of emotional clarity. There's gonna be emotional confusion. There's gonna be heaviness. There's gonna be difficulty separating your emotions from another's, and then you'll find yourself reacting from old wounds. That's a really clear, solid indication that there's other people's space, energy in your space. Okay, is that when you have, it's that combination, you have emotional confusion, you don't know what's yours and theirs, and then you find yourself start reacting or responding from old wounded places. So you notice that, oh, this is a pattern, like from how that I used to do, that I used to feel when X, Y, or Z would happen, or this is how I felt as a child, or even just noticing how young you feel when you're responding to the person. You know, sometimes when you, or the situation, sometimes when you respond to something and you're like, why did I just respond to that like I was 13? Why am I acting like a teenager around this person or in this relationship? Like, what is going on? That's an indication that there's other energy in your field. It's causing emotional triggers. So you want to clear your field. That's going to be step one. Always clear your energy field. Get your nervous system regulated and calm. Get connected with nature. Do some breathing exercises. Then you're going to start to come into that quieter place. Now, if you want to know more about how to clear your energy, go grab my free offer, Clear and Receive. That's not why I'm doing this video, but it is a free offer that's going to give you an instant felt sense of what it is to really have a clear energy field. Because a lot of times we just don't even know. So I want you to have that experience, just like when I took it down a notch when we were talking about the nervous system. Go grab it. It's totally free. The link is in my YouTube banner or bio. Okay, last thing I want to leave you guys with. This is really all about discernment, discerning the difference between fear, intuition, overactivation or hypervigilance, right? And anxiety, projection, learning the difference between what all these feel like so you can really start to discern what is my intuition, what is my voice, my true voice within all of this energy, right? And all the different layers. So discernment isn't about becoming less sensitive. Discernment is not about becoming less sensitive. It's about learning how to hear yourself clearly again. So it's about learning how to hear yourself clearly again. That's your intuition. That's your inner voice. We learn that through discerning these other factors. All right. I am wishing you all the best and all the blessings. Please comment, follow, tag along, and ask me any questions you have, and grab that free gift so that you can really get that visceral experience of having a clear energy field. All right.